Howdy folks, this is Robert Peebles with RP Works. Today we're going to continue our review series of 3 insulated hives, and we're going to talk about Apimaye. Bad part about Apimaye is I'm a big fanboy. I have 6 or 8 of these guys, and well, 9 I guess now with this guy. I'm a fan, so that's probably a little biased, yeah, but I still want to make sure we talk about it because there's some, maybe if you're new to this and you want to see a few things about these hives, we could do that. So first of all, this is an insulated hive just like the others. I know plastic is really good, stands to the test of time because again, this is a brand new one, but I've got hives that are much older and I've got friends who've got hives that are 5 to 10 years old. So, and I know they hold up well. They're rated at R8, which is a little bit better. So let's talk about a few things. One, I don't see any exposed foam anywhere. I'll say this lid is just heavy. Is that a disadvantage? I don't think so, because when you talk about insulated hives, I want to make sure that inside is full of foam. I can't see it, so weight is the only thing I can go by. I don't know what foam they use, but these things are great. Sometimes I forget to latch them. I try never to do that, but if you forget to latch it, I don't worry about the wind blowing these off as much as I would say just a board, right? So I've been real happy with that. So let's start with, work our way down, and I'm kind of going to go through pros and cons at the same time. I'm going to try to find some cons, and I promise you we'll have some. So, and I'm sorry, I'm getting old, I can't see. I'm going to switch back and forth with glasses, just the way it is. All right. Feeders. They make 2 different styles. This is the normal, I call these a 5-frame feeder. This basically fits perfectly fine on 1/2. This is great if you're raising 2 on 1 colony. Nothing wrong with that. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? Let's leave it like it is. It's fine. These feeders work fine. They fit in the system. The way that these are set, you can take the lid off and you can switch between feeding candy and liquid feed. I never feed candy in here. That's just not the way I do it. I've even gone as far as to put little arrows, or you can put dots on both sides so that I know when I do this, I want these arrows to line up so that I know that I'm feeding sugar water. That's all we feed in these guys. That's how I do it. If you want to switch it around, you certainly can. It's got arrows, it's arrows and circles, but to me that was a little, I can't see those because this is injected molding. You just can't see them. Okay, so here's a con. Why all the vents holes? What's the purpose? The bees go and propolize all of this closed up. So that tells me they don't want it, they don't care for it. So I just don't care about all these holes. I know a lot of people are real big on venting and venting this and venting that. With insulated hives, venting is not nearly as important because if bees know what they're doing, they can vent through the front door. So I don't need all of that. I think it's just personally a waste. I don't want it. So again, nothing wrong with the feeders. They hold up over time. They don't warp. I haven't had any issues with these guys. So I know they're good except for, the little things popping out every so often, but that's about it. So that's the only complaint that I've really got. That ain't a complaint. Now, the divider. This is how you do a divider. This guy is substantial. It fits in there nice and tight. It's got ears. I've never broke one over all this time. Very, very good divider. Even on the divider, I don't really care to ever use this, but I know there's cases where you can and should or might, but you can adjust the divider and you can change the little dials on here and say, okay, that's the queen excluder side, or that's shared heat. It's basically just keeping the other bees. They're just sharing their heat between them, but they can't get through. They can touch, which might be a little concerning to some people, or you can close it off completely. Typically when I'm running starting 2 colonies in 1 box, a lot of times they'll close those up anyhow, so I don't really see an issue. But again, and there's just a few notes on here about not running this with a pollen tray, which is smart. But again, I like these. I use these quite a bit, and this is the 10 frame. The 7 frame actually has a little bit of stuff that's a little bit different, the 7 frame box, so maybe I'll review that one day, but I've got bees in all of mine, so it's kind of difficult to do that. All right, boxes are indexed nicely together. You don't have to worry about whether it's sitting properly. The latches, all stainless steel. They're actually labeled Apimaye. They also you don't have to worry about adjusting. It's either got, you hook it to one hook or the other hook. You can't really see that very well, but you either go all the way to the top or you go to this one, whichever one fits. Why do they do that? Well, the bottom, the lid fits a little bit different than it does to another box. That's one reason. And then also, if you have a queen excluder, they make their own queen excluder because a regular one doesn't really fit very well. But if you put a queen excluder on here, and actually I'm just going to take the divider off for now, just to show you what it looks like. When you put the lid back on, it'll work. It's just going to use a different latch. Big deal? Nope, not at all. I'd say the con would be that I have to have my own queen excluder. That's, okay, yeah, that could be a little bit of an issue. I also really like how they've got little lifts on here to keep the queen excluder off of your frames, so it makes gives just enough room for the bees. There's bee space and keeps it from laying down on the frames. Big deal? No, but at least they thought ahead. So a regular queen excluder, you'll have that happen sometimes. Is it a big deal? Again, no, the bees can get through it or they can't. One thing that I don't really understand, and I've never had an answer from Apimaye, why the center hole? If you're running a brood box, I want to be able to run, if I've got a divider in here, I want to run one colony on one side and one colony on the other side, right? I certainly do not want the entrances right here next to each other like you have it. So I don't really understand the reasoning for that. I'm sure, I know I asked Corhan this one day and I didn't get an answer, or at least, I'm sorry, I didn't remember the answer. I'm sure he told me. But when I look at this, the divider's covering up the entrance. Right? So if I put the divider in, it's going to cover that slot. So this center hole means nothing. So that's a con. I mean, I'm sorry, I can't raise 2 colonies in a 10 frame box because of that. So what's the point of the divider? Because these two are going to have so much, they're going to be going back and forth between each other so much that I'm not sure how well I could do that in this box. The 7 frame box is amazing. That one's, if I'm raising multiple colonies, I'm doing it over there, not in this one. All right. Pollen trap. So this guy does have a pollen tray, then it does work. I don't collect pollen, so I don't really care. But the idea is they can come in, whether you're doing it down to small and they can get in that way, or the whole thing, the bees have to go through the center and they come up and the pollen drops in the basket in the bottom. Okay? Speaking of the tray, is back here. The tray is solid. I can put diatomaceous earth in it, or it can catch pollen. Why doesn't everybody do it like this? I don't know. They didn't ask me. I was going to say I thought that this thing was vented, but this one's not. It's solid. So great. I like this just like it is. It fits perfectly fine. The only thing that I've seen some people have an issue with, occasionally when they're sliding this in and out, they miss it and they just drop it in the bottom. So they miss one of the sides, but that's on you. That's not on the design because it works perfectly fine. Just make sure that it's all the way in. That's the only thing I always tell people. The bottom board is outstanding. This looks like the same material as the box, but this thing is just as beefy as you can get. The engineers over there at Apimaye did an absolutely outstanding job. There's 0 warpage here. We could take this tray out, and for fun, let's stick our straight edge on it because we did that with our others. And I see no warpage at all here. Now I can't take the box off, so that's the only thing. This box is attached to the bottom board. You can kind of see there it's screwed together. That also helps support the whole thing. So I think that's where your main structure comes from, and that's what I think they need to be doing on the Alibaba, or I'm sorry, Benefit B, and the Hilco. I would like to see them just attach it because I don't have, just me personally, I have no desire to have a box separate from the bottom board. Okay, so nice beefy legs, nice beefy feet on here. They work great. It is index. I didn't talk about that with the others, but you can put a board between them and they can sit that way. That's fine. You do have, this tray fits nicely. So if you're doing that, you just have to watch to make sure you're going to clear. But this tray is not as deep as the others. But the cool part is that when you put your box, if you set this on a board, instead of your feet, it still fits right. To remove the tray, the pollen tray, whatever you call that thing, pollen basket thing. It's not a basket, but the pollen catch. You have to remove it out of the back, which is good because if I'm walking up to a beehive and I've got 2 days worth of pollen, I don't want to collect any more. I can walk up to the back, I can pull this out, probably kill a couple of bees, but not many. And then I can take that off, and there's this little bitty device here, which pops in its place. And that's all. At that point in time now, the hive is now resealed perfectly. And now I got bees that can walk in and out. You can kind of see here, you can just not really tell there. Nope, can't tell at all. But you get the idea that the bees can then move in and out, okay? We talked about this guy. Oh, and look at these latches. The back side of the latches have metal backing. That thing is not coming off. So it's not just screwed into the plastic like the others. It's actually got a real backing. It's not going to just pull out of the plastic. So I haven't had any issues there. The one thing that I've been complaining about for years with Apimaye is this little doohickey here. It comes with this guide. What this is a little guide that goes right here in its place. That's what they come with. It's just this little bitty, they call it it's a badge hanger or something, but the idea is it's got a little slot, so if you wanted to put a piece of paper or plastic to put a hive number, or it was a barcode holder or something like that, and it just screws in place. Well, okay, this thing, the problem with it is it's made out of a different type of plastic. It dry rots in the sun. So after a year, and it's been a year on some of mine, this one's brand new, so it never saw the sun. These things just come apart in your hands. So that was the reason why we made some of these and just replaced these easily and use the exact same screws. Is that an advertising thing? I'm not trying to, but that's just happened. Because I need to talk about how terrible these are. They need to, Apimaye, if you're listening, these need to be put, if you want to keep doing this, I'm fine with it because I like our tags, but this needs to be better plastic, because I think people see that plastic and they associate that with the rest of your plastic, and it's not true, because all this other plastic is perfectly fine in the sun. Okay? Anything else you want to talk about on these Apimayes? These things are just outstanding. If I need to go pick up a hive and move it, I close the doors, pick it up, go. Just make sure all my latches are on. I move hives all the time with these Apimayes, no problem whatsoever. Whether it's heavy or not, doesn't matter. I don't need to worry about strapping it. It just works. So again, I love this box. I am an Apimaye fan, there's no doubt about it. The downside is they're expensive. There's no doubt about that. I'm kind of glad to see there's some other competitors in the market, and maybe we'll get a little price war going. I'd love to see that as a beekeeper. That's always beneficial in my mind. But no, this is an outstanding box. Price, did I have the price? I didn't write the price down. I need to talk about that. I am going to do another video where we're comparing all three of these insulated hives. This guy does have a 1-year warranty. I did mention it was R8 insulation. And again, I just want to notice that no exposed foam anywhere. I've had these for a few years now, these boxes with bees in them, and they always just raise outstanding bees, and I've been very happy with them. So, Apimaye hives, very good hive. I'll have to make sure in the next video we'll talk about pricing. Maybe I'll add a link to it. That's all I've got. So thank you for watching. And again, my name is Robert with rpbeeworks.com. So if you need any bee products or Apimaye tags, I'll put a link to the description below. And thank you for watching.